Sometimes in your wire routine, you need a little help. So today we're going to be using a bangle weaver tool, weaving in the round. This is the bracelet that we'll be making. We'll be using some rubber tubing, some dark wire, and some Swarovski crystals. First thing you need to do is you need to have two separate spooled items to be able to do the weave. So I'm going to use this little pop spool here, and you just hold the material down on the bottom and wrap this around. And the part that's really cool is that it's a pop, so that it pops back. So now we've got one side, and I've pre-done the other one. So just pull this out and pull this one out. And this is really good in doing the weaving, to have this type of a spool or some other kind of detent on the material that you're using, because you don't want a lot of material out, but you need to be able to have a lot of material to go around. So we're just going to tie these in a little overhand knot. And then there's a little gash on the tool right here that shows you where your beginning spot is. So this just loops over that. So now we have a function of just taking one of these, going over the pin, and then bring that under. So the next one goes over, and then that goes under. So you just continue to go over, and then under, over, and then under. So, and at first it seems like it's going to be a little bit complicated, but it's not. So I'm going to just set this over here and bring the one out that is finished. So obviously once you get to the end, you're going to cut the excess out here, and we've gone around 3 times. You can see there's the first, the second, and then the third. Actually, that looks like 4. Sorry, there's 4. And that makes a very nice, tidy looking bangle bracelet from the outside. Then we're going to take some wire that we have. And we have a different type of detent on this wire so that we can pull this out. And I'm going to pull out probably about maybe that much of the wire. And we will start to, the bangle bracelet, because it's been woven on these wires, needs to have the wires replaced by another type of material. If you were to pull this off right now, the whole thing would fall apart. Obviously, we don't want to do that. So we're going to run this wire up through where these wires are. So in essence, this wire will replace the wire that's this pin. So we're going to pull this through. And as we go around, I'm going to skip one and just have wire going, and then put a bead on the next wire. So we're just going to pull this through, and this will give us the ability to put more wire on if we need to. So we're going to go from there, we're going to go from bottom up to the top. And we'll come back and finish this. I'll show you how we tie it all together. Sometimes it's better to push this up a little farther as well, so you can get that wire in through there. You want to come up like that and then just pull this through, making sure you don't loop it on anything. And you want your loop to be about like that. So this next one will want to have a bead, and I chose these really somewhat flat beads that have a really interesting coating on them to make them really shine very well. And string this bead on, just like this. And then we're going to go from the bottom up one more time by pushing through here, just like so. And we want to be able to pull this down and push that bead so that it stands up just where we want it. Just like so. And then this next one will be an up but it will not have the bead on it. We don't want it to curve under. There we go. And you got to keep adjusting these. This is going to pull just a little bit. Let's set that out there. And we will continue on. That we don't want through there. Okay, and then add another bead because this would be a bead on. So, and then go up from the bottom one more time on this one. So you're kind of getting the idea of how this sewing, in essence, will get these beads on and keep the loops about the same size. Just keep it going just like that. So I have finished one that's closer to finished, of course. So we're now at the end, and I've cut the wire. Now we need to tie all of this together. So the best way that I've found is to go through one more time so that you can get these two wires together and just make a nice tight knot with these. So I'm just going to tie a single knot at first and then tie another knot right over the top and go through twice. So I've just wrapped that around twice. I'm going to pull really tight to get that knot to just cinch down very, very tightly. Now, because we've replaced these pins, we can slide our bracelet off. And this way you're ready to go with another bangle bracelet when you're ready to do another one. Now, we don't have this quite tight enough, and it's a little bit slippery, so I'm going to use a couple of pairs of pliers and just grasp this in the back and grasp this one and just pull that nice and tight to get it to where it'll hold everything together for me right there. There we go. Now I'll use a little bit of glue. Again, the fast glues are the best, and just a little tiny dab of this on here, right on the knot, will give us all the holding that we're going to need right across that knot. Doesn't take much. And then just give it a sort of a heated breath that will let the cyanoacrylate really grasp a hold of the coating on the wires. So now that we've got to this point, we need to go and we need to start adjusting these wires, putting our beads in the right place, getting the lengths adjusted as we go around, and just keep moving this to where we can get it so that they stand up nicely. Moving those. The curvature of the wire is what will hold the bead in place, and you've just got to get that down to a point where it's even around there. Just keep adjusting as you go around. Once you've got it adjusted to where you think things are looking like they should, so now that we've got this nice and tight, we can make a few more adjustments. Make sure that we've got this all around, and then we're going to do some cutting. So just take my flush cutters and cut carefully. First cut one of those and then the other, and then you can cut off the long wires as well. And make some more adjustments until you get the bracelet into the shape that you like. So this particular tool, you can use the rubber, but you can also use hard wire to be able to do the two different colors as well. You could do the same colors, doesn't really matter. It makes for a great bracelet, and you can have two wires going back and forth, as you see this one does. And then you can also have just regular stranded wires. These are some pretty thick wires. So it makes for a beautiful bracelet. The color play is very, very good with this type of material. And then this is just crimped in. You can put beads on these. You can accentuate with beads afterwards. The beads could go on the edges here. You can wrap around as we did in this one. There's many, many different things you can do here. It's just a whole lot of fun. You can create. It's very easy. And that's yet another wire routine for making great jewelry very easily.